You've recited Surah Ikhlas your whole life, but what if you never really heard it? Not with your ears, but with your soul. Ibn Arabi didn't just read Ikhlas, he entered it, and what he found inside changes everything. This is the surah that was never just a chapter. Ibn Arabi, the mystic of Andalusia, said Surah Ikhlas is not just a description of God. It is God revealing himself through your own voice. When you say Kul huwa Allahu ahad, you are not merely stating a belief. You are echoing a primordial truth, the same truth that was whispered into the soul before it entered the body. He wrote, when the Gnostic recites Ikhlas, he does not recite it at God. He recites it with God. That sounds strange, right? But stay with it. Because in Ibn Arabi's vision, every verse of Ikhlas is alive. Not metaphorically, actually alive, flowing with divine presence. He believed that this surah is not passive. It does something to you if you let it. It breaks down the illusion that God is somewhere far away, watching. And instead it draws you into the remembrance that everything, including your breath, your heartbeat, your voice, is already moving within the ocean of divine unity. This is not poetry. This is a shift in your entire perception of reality. Because Ikhlas isn't just about declaring God is one. It's about realizing you've never truly been apart from that oneness. So when you next recite it, don't just read it. Listen for the echo of your own soul answering back. We hear Allah is one so often that it barely stirs us. But for Ibn Arabi, the word ahad isn't just the number one. It's a spiritual reality that has no second, no opposite, no division. He called it the oneness that nothing can be outside of. Think about that. If God is truly ahad, not just one among many, but the only true existence, then what are we? Ibn Arabi says, you are not a separate being trying to reach God. You are a wave trying to remember the ocean it belongs to. When you recite Kul huwa Allahu ahad, you are not informing God of his oneness. You are reminding yourself of the illusion you've been living in, that anything exists apart from him. And here's the paradox. The more you internalize this oneness, the more intimate God becomes. Not a distant king, not a cosmic force, but the very breath behind your breath. That's why Ibn Arabi said, true monotheism is not saying God is one, it's seeing nothing else. And when you see nothing else, your relationship with life transforms. Fear begins to dissolve. Loneliness loses its grip. Because how can you be alone when you are surrounded, sustained by the one who has no second? Allah al-Samad. Just 2 words, but they carry an entire world of meaning. Traditionally, it's translated as the eternal, the self-sufficient, the one upon whom all depend. But Ibn Arabi goes further. He says al-Samad is not just what God is, it's what everything else is not. To be Samad is to be complete, whole, unneeding, which means everything that is not God is incomplete, dependent, in constant yearning. That includes you. And that's not a flaw, it's a design. You were created to be in need, not as punishment, but as invitation. Ibn Arabi says, God created the servant with need, so the servant would always turn toward the source of sufficiency. Your hunger for meaning, your ache in the heart, your longing in the dark. None of that is weakness. It's the echo of the soul recognizing it was never meant to stand alone. So when you say Al-Samad, don't just picture a majestic God on a throne. Feel the sacred pull inside you that's always reaching upward. That longing is worship. And worship, in Ibn Arabi's vision, isn't about satisfying God. It's about remembering you are already sustained. You don't pray to earn presence. You pray to remember you never left it. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. You might hear that and think it's just theology, that God doesn't have a child, that he wasn't born. But Ibn Arabi reads more than doctrine in these words. He reads freedom. To be born means to come from something else. To beget means to produce something outside yourself. But God, the One, is not a link in a chain. He is the beginning and the beyond. And here's the key. You were made in the image of that freedom, not in the literal sense, but spiritually, inwardly. You were not made to be trapped by your origins, not by your family, your past, your name, your status. None of that defines your reality. Your root is deeper. Ibn Arabi says, "The servant who sees God as unbegotten begins to see himself as unlimited by causality." That means your pain is not your identity. Your trauma is not your destiny. You are not just the product of your history. You are a soul echoing a higher source. So when you recite Lam Yalid Walam Yulad, you are declaring more than God's transcendence. You're announcing your own liberation, that you were not made to be defined by the world, but to rise beyond it. Walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. There is none like unto him. The surah ends with this verse, almost like a whisper after a storm. But it's not just a theological conclusion. For Ibn Arabi, it's a gentle command. Let go of the box you've put God in. He says, whatever image you hold in your heart of God, it is not him. He is always beyond it. We all carry images, a distant king, a stern judge, a benevolent father. But all these are shadows on the cave wall. The real, the one, is beyond form, beyond category, beyond even imagination. And why does this matter? Because until you let go of your idea of God, you cannot truly approach him. You'll be worshiping a reflection, not the reality. But Ibn Arabi doesn't stop there. He says the moment you drop your image of God, you start to see God in everything. In the leaf trembling on the branch, in the cry that breaks in the dark, in the stillness between your breaths. This is not pantheism, it's vision, a deeper seeing. Not that everything is God, but that everything points to God, because nothing is like him. And once that truth sinks in, prayer is no longer a duty. It becomes a meeting, a return. And Surah Ikhlas, it becomes a doorway to the place where names fade and only the one remains. Here's the secret Ibn Arabi never stopped whispering. You were never far from God. You only thought you were. Surah Ikhlas is not a lecture, it's a mirror. Every time you recite it, you are not just affirming who God is, you are rediscovering who you are in him. Think about it. If he is one, and if nothing exists outside that oneness, then what are you, if not a reflection of that same light? You were made of forgetfulness, yes, but also of memory. Your soul remembers the moment before time, when it knew its source. And every verse of Surah Ikhlas is like a key turning in the lock of your spiritual amnesia. That's why Ibn Arabi said, the truth is closer to you than your own breath, but it will only reveal itself to the heart that has surrendered the illusion of separation. So stop searching for signs outside. Let Surah Ikhlas turn your gaze inward. Say it not with lips only, but with breath, with presence, with stillness. And when you do, something changes. You don't just recite the surah, you become it. Not that you are God, no, but you become transparent to him, like glass with no dust, like a mirror without distortion. And then, the words are no longer from your tongue. They're from a deeper place, a place that never forgot the one. If this stirred something inside you, don't scroll past it. This wasn't just a video, it was a reminder, a crack in the wall between you and the one. Subscribe to Heart's Whisper, because what you just heard was only the beginning. The next step, not more information, just deeper remembering.